Have you ever played this game? Well, things haven't changed much over the centuries. People have been playing games like this for ages, all the way back to the Roman Empire, maybe even earlier, and traces of it can be found anywhere people were once in need of some quick entertainment. Today I'll be making Three Men's Morris, precursor to the modern-day tic-tac-toe. More on that history in a minute. To start, I have a piece of beech that I'll rip to 2¼ inches wide. Then I'll mark some crisscrossing lines on one end. The design I'm going to make will be sort of a compact travel version. Something that could maybe fit in a coat pocket when you go out, and make you feel a little superior to those poor saps at the next table, drawing grids on napkins. Instead of carving or painting the lines, they're going to be built right in. To do this, I'll first cut the square in half diagonally. I'm keeping it attached to the board as long as possible to make it easier and safer to run through the table saw. Now I'll sandwich them back together with this piece of walnut in between that matches the width of the blade kerf, or at least pretty darn close to it. I didn't have a good way to clamp this without things slipping everywhere, so I just held them together for a minute with my hands. I'll chisel the walnut down, then I can repeat this for the other diagonal, vertical, and horizontal lines. Games of alignment like this can be found all over the world, going back thousands of years. On the European side of things, we find not only 3 men's Morris, but 6 and 9 men's Morris as well. Plus the lengthy list of regional names for identical or very similar games. The word Morris comes from Latin morellus, meaning counter or game piece. Much like our familiar tic-tac-toe grids, you can still find remnants of these games all over, etched into whatever surface was available. A number of English cathedrals have grids of 9 holes scratched into their seats. There are so many games like this, they all kind of overlap and resemble each other. It almost seems like a universal human trait to invent this kind of thing. Back to the project. To finish off the grid lines, I'll glue strips on the outside edges as well. For the outer layer of the board, I'm ripping some more beech to 1/2 inch wide strips. Then I'll saw rough 45-degree miters in the general vicinity and fine-tune them on the disc sander. Once they seem to fit, I'll glue them on like a picture frame around the board. This corner has a gap, so I'll rub a drop of glue on it and sand over it. Instant wood filler. Next, I want to add a little pizzazz to the beech sides, so I'm going to cut slots in the corners for some walnut splines. The splines will be 1/4 inch thick, so it takes a couple passes on the table saw to cut them. Once I have the stop blocks dialed in on the first one, the rest are just quick repeats. Then the splines can be glued in. One of them ended up being pretty loose, so I stuck in a piece of veneer to fill the gap. When they're dry, I'll trim off the extra stuff and sand it down. The 9 holes go at the grid intersections. I'm using a 3/8 bit and only going about 1/4 inch deep. There's going to be a storage cavity in the bottom of this, and I don't want to accidentally drill through from either side. For the playing pieces, I'm using these 3/8 inch dowels I had, cutting 3 pieces from each. I'll soften the sharp edges and then carve them to more of a game token shape. I think it'll look nice and also make them easier to grab. I'll stain them later to really differentiate the two. Alright, looking good so far. And now that I have the playing pieces, I need a place to store them in the board. I'll start by drilling out an area in the bottom about 1/4 inch deep. Then I can square up the edges with a chisel. This is creating the lip that the compartment cover will rest on. I'll also drill a half circle coming out of one edge for the finger grip to allow you to lift up the lid. Then, within that area, I'll drill in deeper to make the actual peg storage area, and chisel that square as well. The cover will be held in with a magnet, so that recess gets drilled now too. After all that drilling, this came out looking like a set piece from Bonnie and Clyde. In hindsight, I should have used a router somehow. But since I already have my veneer out from earlier, I'm going to attempt to cover this up. The veneer is thin enough to cut with scissors and then glue into place and clamp with tape. It'll be far from perfect, but I'm sure it'll be better than nothing. I know this is all concealed on the bottom and inside, but the spur holes were just too much for my poor heart to handle. Now I'll maybe rest a little easier. Next, it needs a cover. Since this compartment is definitely not straight and square, I'll make a rubbing of the opening to use as a template. I'll cut that from walnut and then Dremel out a finger grip to match the one cut into the base. This ended up sitting just barely above flush with the base, so I'm chiseling down the edges of the cover to be more level with it. It's fine to have a subtle protruding dome shape to it because there will be feet on the bottom very shortly. Then a hole for a matching magnet, and we're in the home stretch. I'll give it all a final sanding and soften the sharp edges, and then glue on 4 little feet cut from thin walnut. 3 of the playing pieces are getting a dark stain. Then I'll rub some oil on all of them. Easier than trying to spray them uniformly. Then I'll hit everything else with a couple coats of lacquer. To finish the finish, I'll buff it with a piece of paper bag to make it feel really silky smooth. Lastly, I'll glue in the magnets, making sure they're in the proper orientation, and this game is done. I'm pretty happy with how this ended up. The splines add a lot to the overall look, and the embedded walnut grid lines turned out nice. The execution of the storage compartment could have been a bit more graceful, but it does its job quite well. Here's how to play. It begins like the familiar tic-tac-toe rules. Players take turns placing their pieces on the board. The difference here is that each player only has 3 pieces, and once they're all on the board, you move yours around to try to make a line of 3. You can decide if you want diagonal lines to count or not. On your turn, a piece can be moved to an adjacent open spot connected by a line. As an alternate rule, they could be moved to any open spot on the grid. You go back and forth until someone gets their 3 pieces in a row. And that is 3 Men's Morris, the game that has been staving off boredom for centuries. Thanks for watching.